I returned to prostitution and became pregnant again for the 5th time. This pattern continued, and I...
Woman! How are you not learning your lesson?
Solo thoughts.
This woman does not know the fathers of her 9 children. Yes, you heard that right.
Sijui baba yangu.
She has 9 children, each with a different father.
Mimi?
Hold on. He just said she got 9 children, each with a different father.
Niko na watoto 9. Na watoto 9 na kila mtoto na baba yake.
Si tuko na yeye na baba different.
But today she's raising all of them by herself, and it's taking every ounce of her energy.
Wanalalanga juu ya nguo, juu hata kitanda yenyewe ni ndogo kwa watoto 9, sina la kufanya.
Njaa imetuzidi kabisa. Chakula tunaokota. Hatuna hadi mavazi.
Despite the struggle, she will never abandon her children. She has done everything possible to provide for them, even though it means sacrificing her own life. But how does she not know the fathers of her children? And how is she raising them all on her own? Let's find out. When we visited this family, we found when only 6 children were available, as the other 3 elder children had gone to collect some plastics.
Kwa majina naitwa Phyllis Mbone, mimi ni
My name is Phyllis Mboni. I was born into a poor family of 6 children, but now only 4 of us remain. We experienced a challenging upbringing, filled with struggles that prevented me from attending school due to poverty. Our father chased away our mother and brought in another woman who became our stepmother. Unfortunately, she treated us in the worst possible way, to the point where she couldn't even provide us with basic sustenance. Tragically, my brother died from hunger as a result. She was not the nurturing mother figure we had hoped for, as she was extremely abusive. One day, she beat me so severely that my leg was injured. Despite being born without any disabilities, the constant physical abuse I endured left me disabled.
Wow, that's crazy. But I will say I give this woman props for not abandoning her children. Even though she slept around with 9 different men, she's still taking care of her kids. So, hey, she's taking accountability.
Their childhood was never easy. They struggled with poverty and endured abusive and neglectful parents, making their life far from that of other children. These circumstances forced them to leave home at a young age in search of ways to survive. She found herself wandering the streets of Nairobi at just 16 years old.
Nilipata kazi ya kilabu nikiwa na
I got a job as a waitress, hoping that my life would improve financially and overall. However, things took a different turn when I met a man who convinced me that he wanted to marry me and provide a better life than being a waitress. We fell in love and I became pregnant. Unfortunately, after giving birth, he immediately abandoned both me and the baby. As a young single mother, I struggled without any support and reached a point where I wished I didn't exist anymore. Despite the difficulties, I continued raising my baby alone and returned to work at the bar. When my baby was 6 months old, I met another man whom I hoped would be different from the first. I asked if he would genuinely take care of me and my baby, and he quickly agreed, promising to love me wholeheartedly. However, he left me when I was 7 months pregnant.
Oh my gosh. Hey, I also will say that it's not these children's fault that they are in this world. The mother was sleeping around with different men, and now the kids are suffering from the woman believing in these men that said they'll stick around, but they end up bailing on her. You just got to be careful at choosing the type of men that you sleep around with, because once you have a kid, it's a whole different ball game.
With 2 babies without their fathers and nothing to feed them, life was becoming increasingly harsh. Just 2 weeks after giving birth, she felt she had no choice but to return to the bar in the hopes of earning a living. Without any siblings or a housemaid to care for her children, she would lock them inside the house while she went to work, only checking on them in the evening.
Nikapatana na mwanaume watatu.
I met another man and immediately stopped him when he began discussing love. I expressed my weariness of men and their empty promises, stating that I would never be fooled by their sweet words again. However, this man insisted that he was unlike the others and requested an opportunity to prove it. Reluctantly, I decided to give him that chance.
Dang.
To my surprise, he truly was different. Throughout our first year together, he demonstrated care and responsibility. However, during the second year, I unexpectedly became pregnant. In hindsight, I realized that I was too young and inexperienced to understand how to prevent pregnancy. I lacked parental guidance or support to navigate through life. After giving birth, my circumstances took a turn for the worse. He became neglectful and eventually abandoned me. With no other options, I resorted to selling the few good clothes I owned in order to make a living. These clothes were purchased when I was still working. Unfortunately, this source of income was short-lived since I had only a limited number of clothes to sell, and I did not wisely invest the money. Instead, I spent it all.
As days passed, her life continued to worsen. One day she made a decision that no one would simply think of: going to the streets to engage in sex work, prostitution. Everything she did was for the sake of helping her children survive, but even that wasn't getting any easier.
Unapatana na mtu anakuambia atatumia CD.
I met a client who refused to use protection, condom, and as a result, I became pregnant. This led to the birth of my fourth child, a daughter. Despite being pregnant, I continued working until I was 8 months along. Just 2 weeks after giving birth, I returned to prostitution and became pregnant again, for the 5th time. This pattern continued, and I...
Woman! How are you not learning your lesson? I started to feel sorry for you after the second baby, but once you had the third baby and on, I'm like, come on now. You can't be doing this. You got 9 kids. You mean to tell me you didn't have no type of wake-up call after the first 2 kids? I'm trying to feel sorry for this woman, but I can't. I think this woman, she was really looking for some type of hero to come save the day and help her take care of her kids, but you're not doing it the right way. Be mindful who you give access to. Now these kids are suffering because of your decisions. But once again, I respect this woman for taking accountability.
ended up conceiving multiple times, eventually having a total of 7 children. I continued my job, but then I met a man who questioned my lifestyle and urged me to think about myself. He advised me to go to the hospital to prevent further pregnancies. We became friends and went to the hospital, but unfortunately, the doctors discovered that I had high blood pressure, which made contraceptive pills ineffective. The man impregnated me, and like the other men I had encountered, he ran away. Left with no other choice, I returned to the streets and ended up getting pregnant for the 9th time.
Her co-workers turned against her, calling her stupid. They couldn't believe how she always managed to get pregnant. They blamed her, saying she invited pressure on herself by allowing all these men into her life. Instead of receiving support, she was trolled and discouraged. Despite facing extreme poverty, she chose to stay at home and raise her children. These kids, who do not know their fathers, wish they had a father figure in their lives.
Naitwa Julius Irungo.
I'm Julius, and we currently live in this house. Unfortunately, we have nowhere to sleep, struggle with food, and do not have enough clothes. The hunger we feel is overwhelming. I do not know my father, but if he is watching us, he should feel ashamed of himself.
Naitwa Travis Muita.
My name is Travis. I always wonder where my dad lives because I want to see him. He left us when we were young, but we still need him. Our lives are challenging and I am unable to attend school due to the lack of school fees, even though I would love to study. There are 9 of us children, each with different fathers, but I still have a desire to meet my own father. As boys, we feel the need to have our own space, as there are certain things we feel too shy to discuss with our mother.
No lie, these two look alike. That makes me wonder if they got the same father.
Tuwashinda tukilelea kwa shida, hakuwa siku tushaikaa na furaha maisha yetu yote.
Ever since we were born, we have never experienced joy in our lives. We are unsure why we do not have fathers like others. We reside in a cramped house where we sleep and wake up feeling even more exhausted. Our living space is insufficient for our large family, and we yearn for a larger house. But that dream seems unattainable. We face a significant problem in our current situation. We do not have any clothes and are forced to find old clothes from trash cans each morning. We then hand them over to our mother for washing before putting them on. Moreover, the house we are staying in is old and damaged, allowing rainwater to enter. Consequently, we are unable to sleep when it rains.
Hii unga imeexpire, tunaitoanga kwa takataka tukienda kuchambua, na ndio tunatumia kwa hii nyumba, hatuna chakula ingine. Alafu hii ni unga ya uji. Hii ndio napikianga nayo mtoto uji, na imeexpire na nimetoa kwa takataka. Hii ndio chakula tunatumia kwa hii nyumba yangu.
Despite the odds pinned in the top comments. This mother is a hero. Unlike her husbands, she stepped up when she was needed the most. She even had to do things she normally couldn't just to feed her 9 children. This story once again teaches us that mothers are the best gift we could ever have. Thank you for watching. I'm Simon Greenwood, and this is Afrimax English. Remember to subscribe.
Man, I feel sorry for the children. That's what I will say, because it's not their fault that the mother was sleeping around with all these different men and they had to enter this world, and now they are struggling. They can't even go to school. They struggling to eat. They struggling for clean clothes, and it's taking a toll on their life. And I just wish the mother would have made better decisions when it came to the type of men she was dealing with. You don't have to keep sleeping around with these men. You noticed how the pattern was endless. Every time you got pregnant, what did the men do? They abandoned you. Like I said, after the first couple of men, you should have caught on like, nope, I'm not doing this no more. I'm not getting in no relationship. I'm not going to take these men serious. I'm going to just focus on the few children that I have and I'm not going to sleep around with these men. She started to get desperate after the couple of kids that she had. She like, you know what? I'm going to find that one right guy, and he's going to stick by me. But no, back to back to back to back to back. These men was just leaving her for dead. I don't respect the men doing that, but at the same time, as a woman, you give access to a man to have intercourse with you. If you don't give access to that man to have intercourse with you, you wouldn't have been getting pregnant. You made it acceptable for this man to sleep with you. The men that left her, y'all don't get no leeway either. Because if you can get a woman pregnant, you need to be a man and take care of your child. I don't care if you don't find a woman attractive and it was just a one night stand. You played a role in having encounters with each other. So therefore, whatever is the result of that, you have to take accountability and be a man. So let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Do y'all think this is the woman's fault for setting her kids up for this type of lifestyle? Or do y'all think that the men are responsible for why she's in the position that she's in right now? But that's all I got for you guys. And make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. And until next time, I'm gone. Peace.